We're going to get started, so come on over.
How are you doing?
Are we ready?
I want to get Arthur up here, but yeah.
All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm just going to ask that if you're to the side, if you just kind of gather in front of the podium, that'd be great. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so good morning. My name is Selena Miranda, and I'm the Executive Director of Hyde Square Task Force. And we are an organization that's been here for 31 years. And about in 2014, actually, we bought the church with this big dream that we would gonna make sure it remained a piece of the community. And here we are. It's so wonderful to have you here on this campus that means so much to the community. There is so much affordable housing here already, thanks to Jamaica Plain Neighborhood Development Corporation. So JPNDC, to my JPNDC friends, thank you for all the wonderful work you've done in our community. And also, we are delighted to be partnering with Penrose. There's Charlie right there, my good friend. And on sort of making a dream happen. We're excited that this is going to be mostly affordable housing, and also Hyde Square Task Force will have a community and performance space. Then if you know, that is very important to us. Yeah. Very good. Well, it is a pleasure to welcome you to our campus, welcome you to this event, and it is my pleasure to now welcome our wonderful Mayor Wu to the podium. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Selena, and to your entire team and to all of our partners in doing the necessary infrastructure building work of changing and transforming how we can provide housing for all in the city of Boston. Affordable housing is the foundation that everything else needs to be built upon. And I'm so grateful to have so many partners in this work in Boston, rethinking it from every angle. In addition to the organizational partners who are here, I want to thank my colleagues in city government, or actually city and state government. So elected colleagues, City Councilor Kendra Lara, who's the district councilor and chair of the Housing Committee. City Councilor Kenzie Bach, who's been a long time champion for all of our housing efforts. And our new state representatives, Meta Montano, thank you so much for your leadership. We're thrilled. You will hear, of course, from our Chief of Housing, Sheila Dillon, and Jessica from her team, representing many in the Office of Housing who are working to address immediate crises, but also change the systems. So thank you so much to Sheila, Jessica, and everyone on your teams. Thank you, thank you. A really important partner in the work, our planning chief, Arthur Jemison, who has been leading amazing transformation along with all of his staff. Thank you for being here as well. This is exactly what we want to see all across the city. Treasured community spaces, maintained and even expanded in the uses that match the needs of our communities today. For almost 20 years, this beautiful space has been sitting empty, waiting for the vision and team to recognize and realize its potential, and the coalition to do that. And so we're so thrilled that that team, built from community, from the grassroots, with leadership from the Hyde Square Task Force, Penrose, the Office of Housing, and so many community members and activists, we're all here to share that this church will soon house 55 mixed-income rental units, a new performance space for the Hyde Square Task Force Creative Arts Program, and a hub of community all throughout the year. And this project will be just one of 17 new projects across the city that we're able to celebrate today, of the same kind of scale and impact for community. $67 million will be deployed in the creation and preservation of more than 800 units of income-restricted housing across 8 neighborhoods. And so this round of funding, which is available because of the leadership of our teams and the thoughtful and creative use to try to close gaps wherever possible, we're deploying federal recovery funds as well as funds that are connected to development in Boston through linkage and other programs that we're also looking to address separately as well. I will just note that we're very grateful to have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to show how much impact happens when you invest in housing across the entire community. And we're making use of our recovery dollars thanks to the partnership from the City Council and State Legislature to do that. These dollars run out in just a few years. And this is the proof, and this will soon be, the residents who will be living here soon will be the proof that we need to keep that going. And so we're also standing here to renew our call for sustainable revenue sources to fund affordable housing, from our proposals with linkage and IDP, as well as for a transfer fee at the State House that would generate the revenue to keep this going permanently in perpetuity for our communities. And I want to thank Sam and all of our colleagues at the State House. Our proposal last session got the farthest that it has ever gotten for a transfer fee. And so we are really grateful for the partnership with the Boston delegation in renewing that call this session. It ties not only the funding for affordable housing, but a specific batch of resources to keep our seniors in their homes with tax relief and a recognition of how our longstanding community members need that targeted support as well. Okay, back to my script. Sorry for this deviation. The $67 million and 800 units will touch 8 neighborhoods: Alston, Chinatown, Dorchester, Jamaica Plain, Mattapan, Mission Hill, Roxbury, and South Boston. And we know that the housing crisis really is centered across the entire city and that it affects each part of our daily lives directly and indirectly. These projects will include units for rent and homeownership. They include affordable housing, senior housing, supportive housing. They rely on partnerships with for-profit and nonprofit developers and will be built on public and private land. So we're really trying to put everything on the table. We talk all the time about the importance of collaborating across industries, sectors, and levels of government to address our toughest challenges. Nowhere is that need more urgent than ensuring our residents and families can afford to stay and thrive in this city. So every time we do an event like this, you will hear me say not only that we need to keep it going with transfer fee at the State House, but that we need to not only create new housing, but preserve and protect it where it already exists as well. We're excited to be continuing to build on the work of the past year. Under Sheila and Arthur's leadership and their teams, we've permitted more than 1,300 affordable housing units just in the last year, which is the most in a generation in a single year. And investments like the one here today ensure that there's a foundational pipeline for all of the other innovative work that our Office of Housing is doing to preserve affordability, boost homeownership, close the racial wealth gap, and fight displacement. Ok, otra vez en español. Buenos días a todos. Quiero agradecer al Hyde Square Task Force por recibirnos aquí. Estoy muy orgullosa de estar aquí hoy con todos ustedes y con nuestro equipo de vivienda para anunciar que esta iglesia pronto será el hogar de 55 unidades de vivienda de renta mixta y un nuevo escenario para el programa de artes creativas de Hyde Square Task Force. Gracias. Nos aseguramos de que este lugar siga siendo el centro de la comunidad y la conexión. Este proyecto es solo uno de los 17 nuevos proyectos que celebramos hoy en toda la ciudad. Invertimos $67 millones en la creación y conservación de más de 800 unidades de vivienda asequible en Boston. La crisis de la vivienda nos afecta a todos, directa e indirectamente. Por eso, nuestras soluciones deben diseñarse pensando en todos también. Los 17 proyectos que están recibiendo inversión incluyen unidades para renta y compra, incluyen viviendas asequibles, viviendas para mayores y viviendas de apoyo. Se basan en relaciones con desarrolladores con y sin ánimo de lucro y se construirán en terrenos públicos y privados. Hablamos continuamente de la importancia de la colaboración entre industrias, sectores y niveles de gobierno para afrontar nuestros retos más difíciles. Esa necesidad es especialmente urgente en la lucha para garantizar que nuestros residentes y familias puedan quedarse y vivir en nuestra ciudad. Por eso, cada vez que organizamos un evento como este, me oirán decir que es solo una de las muchas cosas que estamos haciendo en nuestra ciudad para abordar la necesidad de vivienda asequible. Tanto la necesidad de preservarla y protegerla donde existe, como la necesidad de crearla donde no existe. Estamos muy contentos de seguir avanzando sobre la base del trabajo del año pasado, en el que permitimos más de 1.300 viviendas asequibles, la mayor cantidad en una generación. Inversiones como la que estamos celebrando hoy aquí garantizan que haya una fundación para todos los demás trabajos innovadores que nuestra oficina de vivienda está haciendo para preservar la asequibilidad, impulsar la propiedad de la vivienda y luchar contra el desplazamiento. Y también, otra vez, necesitamos legislación al nivel estatal para un transfer fee, para crear los fondos sostenibles en perpetuidad para la creación y para mantener nuestros recursos para la vivienda asequibles. Entonces, gracias. And I'm very excited to pass it on now to my colleagues in elected office. We will start with our district councilor, Kendra Lara, then Councilor Bach, and then Rep Montaño.
Good morning. Buenos días. Wow, what a celebration today. I am incredibly excited to be here and incredibly humbled by all of the support and all of the work that has gone to making this happen today. I was a young person at the Hyde Square Task Force when the Hyde Square Task Force first bought the Chevrolet building behind the school. And I remember when we switched our programming from our little office at 375 Center Street and started building out this beautiful practice and performance space right behind the church. And shortly after, the Hyde Square Task Force, in its multi-generational commitment to preserving and beautifying this neighborhood, purchased the church that we are now celebrating, that is going to soon be the 55 affordable units and the performance center for the Hyde Square Task Force. This has been decades of a labor of love. I'm sorry, I'm not crying, it's the wind, but I should cry. I'm emotional. This is an incredibly emotional moment for me, especially as a Hyde Square Task Force kid and as a neighborhood kid who stands here not only as your elected official, but as the chair of the Housing Committee to be celebrating alongside the mayor and alongside her administration and all of our community partners, the creation of so much affordable housing, not just here in our district, but all across the city. I want to take special care to really thank the Hyde Square Task Force because they poured an incredible amount of energy and financial resource into preserving and holding on to this building so that we could maintain the stronghold here in this community. And so thank you so much for all of that sacrifice and all of that love. And thank you to Mayor Wu and to Sheila Dillon and to the mayor's administration for, again, showing their commitment to building and preserving affordable housing in the city of Boston by putting their money where their mouth is. So again, I just want to say thank you to everybody who was involved. I am incredibly proud. This is getting us one step closer to really building a city of Boston that is for all of us. And it won't be the last time that we're going to be celebrating more affordable housing, more creative performance space, and more creative solutions to the housing crisis that we see ourselves in today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It is a delight to be with so many housers here today celebrating these units. And I think what I was thinking about standing here, I just walked from the T past past Mildred Haley, which I serve on the Neighborhood Housing Task Force, so I had the pleasure of seeing many of your presentations, and really excited about the transformation that's underway at Haley. But I was thinking as I was walking by it about the fact that people started moving into Mildred Haley, then Bromley Heath, 80 years ago. And you know, there's a project on this list also in my district in Mission Hill, the Roxbury tenants of Harvard, also known as Mission Park, where land was wrested back from Harvard and turned into land for families to live on in the late 60s, early 70s. And I was thinking about the fact, frankly, the 800 number, it's a big number as it is, but when you think about an 800 unit number and you multiply it out across decades, and you think about the fact that quite often we've built housing, you know, we have these one-time infusions, and maybe people are thinking, well, it's going to be 20, 30 years, but then we're actually looking at 80, right? I mean, we wish that we could invest in these units more frequently, but it tells us what an investment across what a period of time we make every time we invest in somebody's housing, right? Even if you only said the 800 units that we're doing today were going to last you 50 years, and obviously my goal is for them all to be in perpetuity, that would be 40,000 family years of housing, right? So I think it's really important for us to recognize the significance of what we do with each of these projects in anchoring community. And it's so hopeful to me when we talk about kind of landmarks in the landscape of housing in the city of Boston, like Mildred Haley, like Mission Park, that what we're doing today is renewing that commitment. In Mission Park, in my district at Roxbury Tenants at Harvard, the project is to take a vacant piece of land that has been used for storing snow and to build on it housing that is affordable, both rental and home ownership, with a small 25% market rate to help cross-subsidize. And I just think it's great for us all as elected officials to be able to honor the victories of years past. It is even better to be able to build on them in the present. And so I think that we're really proud, like the mayor said, of what the council and the mayor were able to collaborate on in terms of American Rescue Plan dollars. I don't think there's a city in the country that's putting more of its American Rescue Plan dollars into housing than Boston is, with that $200 million. And we absolutely are going to need that partnership that the mayor mentioned, you know, with the state to get the transfer fee through so that we can keep doing this over and over and over again. And that's really the way that we're going to anchor Boston for All. So excited about today. Congratulations.
Oh, hey folks, I'm Sam Montaño, the new state representative for this district, and I just wanted to say first, thank you to Mayor Wu and to all the city officials who have made this happen. I know as someone who comes from affordable housing development, I know that this process is frustratingly slow, but you all have moved the money quickly, so thank you very much. Second, Hyde Square Task Force is one of the only Afro-Latino art-serving organizations in the Commonwealth, if not definitely the city. And so the ability to allow them to take this crucible off their back and put all that money into the youth, and then we get affordable housing out of it is amazing. And it preserves the outside of the building, which is also great. From the age of 12 until very recently, I moved every year. Housing is an incredibly important initiative for me, and I understand that we need to get folks settled for them to have the ability to apply for jobs, to get into their recovery, to protect their mental health. And so housing is first and foremost. In my mind, I have co-sponsored Mayor Wu's 2% transfer fee, 2% transfer fee at the State House, so we can hopefully get more of that money flowing to our communities and flowing to developers who are looking to preserve more affordable housing. And just last, thank you for all the money that's coming to the district. I came from Jamaica Plain Neighborhood Development Corporation as an organizer and worked my way across the community doing lots of affordable housing development. I mentored as a mentor to youth at Hyde Square Task Force, and so this is just very grounding and very honored to have this donation. Not a donation, it's money. But last, Selena wanted me to say that there will be pastelitos and coffee in the Chevrolet building back there after this. So join us for the reception. Also, the building is beautiful, so please come back. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. It's wonderful to be here. to celebrate not only this development, which is really important to all of us, but our collective effort. And it's the work together that will advance these 800 units. High quality green housing that our families and seniors can afford. So I really love all of you, and I'm really excited about taking this money, funding these projects, and moving them, as you know. The mayor's right. Last year we had an incredibly productive year. We permitted 1,300 affordable new units in the city of Boston. So it's an amazing number for us. And we've got a chart being drafted right now about what's going to happen, be permitted this year, and then we'll hopefully see these projects get permitted next year. So this is a train. You're all on it. Let's move it. Just a couple of thank yous too. It was mentioned, this is city operating dollars, of course, ARPA money, of course, but linkage and also CPA. And just a couple of shout outs of linkage and CPA. Linkage and CPA are overseen by community boards that spend time reading proposals, scoring proposals, and really giving guidance to the city. So I just want to call out both the members of the linkage NHT board. If you're here, could you just raise your hands real quick? I see Harry, I see others. Okay, thank you. And then I also CPA, which is overseen by Thaddean Brown here at the city, but I do see board members and of the advisory. So if CPA could just raise their hands too. I see Felicia. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So in addition to the city funding, a lot of these projects got early funding from LIST, CDAC, and pre-development funders. They couldn't advance these projects without an infusion of cash, so I do want to thank those folks as well. I also saw today, which I was very excited to see, folks from state agencies. CDAC is here, LIST is here, Mass Housing, I saw Crystal earlier. I think Mass Development might be in the house. So all of these projects are going to go now to state agencies and ask for funding. So the fact that they're here and they're ready to receive these projects is really exciting, and I do want to thank them for the partnership. Yes. So before I close, I just want to acknowledge my colleagues and partners at the city. Of course, Mayor Wu, who is making historic investments right now in affordable housing, more money than we have ever had to advance these projects. The BHA is here, and they have provided funding and land and Section 8 certificates that we can project-based so we can serve lower-income populations. The BPDA, yes. The BPDA, of course, working closely with Arthur, and a lot of his team members are here. They are shepherding these projects through the Article 80 process, working very closely with neighborhoods and listening carefully and making sure these projects are everything they should be. Yes. And I did see Commissioner Lyons, too. These all have to get permitted safely. I think if we've learned anything in the last week, building safety is key. You know, if the unforeseen happens, we want strong buildings that are really going to hold up. So I really want to thank you, Commissioner, for making sure these are safe. And so my final thank you is certainly to the MOH team. They underwrote each project carefully. They looked at every number. They made sure they were following our guidelines. They worked on the designs, et cetera, et cetera. So specifically the design team, all the development officers, many of them are here today, Associate Director Christine O'Keefe and Deputy Director Jessica Boatwright, who is now going to call out the projects that are receiving funding. Thank you.
There's a long list, as you've heard. Good morning, everyone. I want to echo the thank yous and acknowledgments that the mayor and Chief Dillon and the elected officials here have made this morning. And before I get to do one of the most fun parts of my job, which is give out funding awards, I want to especially thank the development partners who are receiving these awards, who turned ideas and dreams into feasible proposals. I want to thank the community stakeholders who've helped inform the projects, and all of my colleagues at the City of Boston. It's really great to see so many people from our partner agencies here, and the incredible neighborhood housing development team that I work with in the Mayor's Office of Housing. So now I'm going to tell you about the projects, and first we're going to do a little bit of logistics. So when I read your project, if a member of your team could come over by the bench, Christine O'Keefe has beautiful folders that have your award letters in them. We know you are all waiting to get your hands on those letters. So what we're going to do is have you kind of gather over there. After I'm done reading all of them, we're going to take a picture. And also, please let me read through all of them, and then we can have the biggest applause that we've had. So we'll hold the applause till the end. And of course, we have no favorites in the Mayor's Office of Housing, so I'm going to read them by neighborhood. They are not in any other order. So just letting you know. And I'm going to give you a really quick snippet of details. Each of these projects has just really incredible and interesting things about them. We've gotten to hear about, particularly about this Blessed Sacrament project today, but learn more about them because they're all doing really, really great things in the neighborhoods they're in. So the first neighborhood is Alston, the Alston Community Development Corporation, which will renovate and execute a deep green energy retrofit on the units at Brian Honan Apartments. I know. It's okay. I was giving the directions like this. Chinatown to the Asian Community Development Corporation, which will create home ownership and rental units on BPDA. The former will be the former BPDA parcel R1, a building that will also house the new branch of the Chinatown Public Library. I know. In Dorchester Bay Economic Development Corporation and Preservation of Affordable Housing, who will build Columbia Crossing, a mixed income development that will also include the renovation of the historic Dorchester Savings Bank. Also, DVM Consulting, which will transform 5 vacant city-owned parcels along Blue Hill Avenue in Dorchester and Mattapan into affordable rental and homeownership opportunities. In Jamaica Plain, as we've been talking about this morning, Penrose Development and the Hyde Square Task Force, which will redevelop the former Blessed Sacrament Church building into mixed-income rental housing and a new performance center for the Hyde Square Task Force. The Jamaica Plain Neighborhood Development Corporation, which will redevelop Phase 2 of the BHA Mildred Haley campus through a combination of preservation and new construction. And also Urban Edge Community Development Corporation, which will redevelop Phase 3 of the Mildred Haley housing campus to create and replace rental units. In Mattapan, Two Life Development, which will construct Brook House at Olmsted Village. There's a new precedent now. Brook House is a multi-use building with a lot of services and most importantly for us today, senior supportive housing on the former site of the Mattapan State Hospital. In Mission Hill, the Roxbury Tenants of Harvard to create a new transit-oriented mixed home ownership and rental building at 775 Huntington Avenue. In Roxbury, the Madison Park Community Development Corporation and the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts to create a new mixed rental and home ownership building and a new home for the Urban League at 84 to 88 Warren Street. New Wester Community Development Corporation to build a mixed income home ownership development at Copeland Corner. Trinity Financial and Madison Park Community Development Corporation to develop a mixed rental and homeownership building at BPDA Parcel 10, which we now call 2085 Washington Street. And last but not least, in South Boston, the South Boston Neighborhood Development Corporation, which will redevelop McDevitt Hall into McDevitt Senior Homes, creating senior supportive housing and a new permanent program space for the Paraclete Center in South Boston. And now I think we get to go take a picture. Thank you, everyone, for all of your hard work and for being here today, too.
Just remind them about the.
Oh, and don't forget to go eat food and drink coffee behind us after photos and handshakes.
I'll grab her.
Okay.